Now that I've got the reference material and the dimensions and stuff I need for the project, I can start working on building and hopefully get a pretty good representation of what they showed in the film. Quite often some of the props you see in films are just off-the-shelf items, but after doing the research for this project, it's fairly safe to say that the box that they made for the Samaritan pistol was probably custom made to match it. But having said that, I think I've found a number of off-the-shelf items that are going to work fairly well in helping me recreate it. I was able to find a brass hinge, which is pretty close to the one that they've used. The spacing is slightly different, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. I was able to get an ammo box that's got the front latch, which is the type of thing I need to mount on the front of it. The handles I'll have to custom make, but they're relatively straightforward, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And the other off-the-shelf item that I found is a metal toolbox, which is a little lightweight, but it should be fairly easy to modify that as well. Just starting by breaking down and cutting up the toolbox so that it matches the dimensions that we need. Removing all the elements of the toolbox that I don't want, and then cutting it down to match the size that it should be based on the dimensions that I found. I'm going to reinforce the inside of the box with a 4mm marine ply. Just using liquid nails to glue it into place. Once I've lined the inside of the box and the glue set, I can start working out the folding of the metal and rejoining it back into the size that it should be. Now that the box is fully lined and I've trimmed down the metal, I can fold over the edges to hide the inside timber and makes it look more like a full steel box. So whilst it's a bit of a shame that I'll have to chop up this box to get to the bits that I need this top locking mechanism and the front piece. Now these are designed to not come off, so I'm going to have to struggle with this a little bit. You can see how much I had to distort the box just to get that bit off. And once again it tore some metal off, so they really are strong on there. Like that. So all in all, it's still intact and it should transplant on fairly easily once I've cleaned up all these other bits. Just got to get the lid sorted out now. So once again I'm folding up the metal so that it creates a nice seam. As before, I've just glued some timber in there to reinforce the strength of it. And then the back seam has to be folded over to accommodate where the hinge is attached to. Having the metal folded over like that means that I can rivet directly into the metal and not go all the way through the lid, so it makes for a cleaner seam. I was able to recycle the metal from the original handles, so I'm just reshaping them here to the shape I need it to be and creating a new mounting piece so that the handles more closely match the design that I'm going for. Time for a final cleanup on the pieces, and then it's just a matter of starting to attach them to their proper position. Just working out the alignment for the bolt here so that the mechanism works properly. Once I've got that done, it's just a matter of cleaning up the seams to make the box look more solid. Now that I've got the undercoat done, for the most part my biggest problem is going to be that the surface is too clean. So I'm going to have to go back and look at some of the reference pictures to see where some of that weathering is. One of the things that can be a little bit tricky is getting all the little weathering bits right, all the little nuanced details of bumps and scratches and these little subtleties of paint and the correct type of font and all that sort of stuff I think actually make a big difference when it comes to the look of it. The first thing I did was I went in and photoshopped this picture similarly to what I did when I came up with the original plans for creating the box in the first place to get the dimensions. The difference is because I now know what the top dimensions of the box should be, I was able to skew and warp the image around to make sure that it fits in the correct orientation, and then with a little bit more warping and adjustment I was able to get the text in the correct position, and because the rest of the image is dragged along with that adjustment, it should pretty much make sure that everything's in its proper place. Now that I've got the basic map laid out for roughly where the scratches and dents and knocks and bumps and that sort of stuff are going to be, and the blemishes that are appearing in the paint, I'm going to do some pre-weathering in terms of the knock around before I continue with the painting. So again, based on pictures, it's almost impossible to work out what's going on as far as the sides and back of the box is concerned. So this next bit's going to be highly technical. Time to start painting. So again, don't forget, if you are liking these videos, click that like button. That always helps me out a lot. And if you'd like to see me grow things along a bit quicker, you might consider checking out my Patreon page. It's slowly growing in the background now, so hopefully as time goes on, I'll be able to produce more and more videos and pass on more and more incentives to my patrons. There's already a bit of exclusive content there, and that's growing with each new video I create. So if you have the inclination to help me out, it'd be greatly appreciated. Probably been wondering why spend so much time building a box for a prop that's only seen for a couple of seconds in the film anyway. Well, that's because I'm going to be needing it for this. Yes, I'm going to be doing the Samaritan gun in full aluminium. I'm going to try and do as many working components in it as I possibly can. So keep watching, guys. There's going to be loads more to come on this upcoming project. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time. You might like to subscribe if you haven't already to keep up to date with the new videos coming out.